Welcome to my YouTube channel Artificial Intelligent Finances, where I explore stories that captivate our attention and imagination. Today, I bring you two stories, each with its own unique twist. First, we dive into the first crime story that rocked the world and changed music history forever. The murder of John Lennon by a fan who became obsessed with his music and philosophy shows us the dangers of celebrity obsession and the devastating consequences of untreated mental illness. Then, we shift gears and venture into the second story, which is based on a mysterious disappearance of Emily, a free-spirited traveler who vanishes without a trace. Her family and friends embark on a search for her that leads them on a wild goose chase across South America, only to find her living off the grid on a secluded beach. Join me on this journey as we explore the fascinating and sometimes unexpected twists and turns of these two stories. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay up to date with all of my latest content. The murder of John Lennon. The murder of John Lennon on December 8, 1980, shocked the world and left a lasting impact on the music industry. The former Beatle had been shot and killed outside of his apartment building in New York City by Mark David Chapman, a fan who had become obsessed with Lennon's music and writings. Chapman had first become interested in Lennon's music when he was in high school. He had grown up in a conservative Christian family and had felt isolated and alone, but he found solace in the music of the Beatles. He listened to their albums over and over again, studying the lyrics and immersing himself in their world. As he got older, Chapman began to read Lennon's books and essays, and he became more and more fascinated by the musician's philosophy and beliefs. He admired Lennon's anti-war activism and his calls for peace and love, and he began to see him as a kindred spirit. However, Chapman's admiration soon turned to anger and frustration when Lennon made comments critical of the Beatles and their influence. He believed that Lennon was a phony and a fraud, and he began to obsess over the idea of killing him. Chapman's mental health had been deteriorating for some time. He had been diagnosed with depression and had been struggling with thoughts of suicide. But instead of seeking help, he fixated on his plan to kill Lennon. On the day of the shooting, Chapman had waited outside Lennon's apartment building for several hours, clutching a copy of Lennon's album, Double Fantasy. When Lennon and his wife, Yoko Ono, returned home from a recording session that night, Chapman approached them and asked Lennon for an autograph. Lennon obliged, signing the album with a message to Chapman. As Lennon and Ono walked away, Chapman pulled out a .38 caliber revolver and fired 5 shots at Lennon, hitting him 4 times in the back. Lennon was rushed to the hospital, but he was pronounced dead on arrival. Chapman was arrested at the scene and later pleaded guilty to second-degree murder. He was sentenced to 20 years to life in prison and has been denied parole 11 times. The murder of John Lennon was a tragedy that left an indelible mark on music history. It showed the dangers of celebrity obsession and the devastating consequences of mental illness left untreated. Here is the second story. The disappearance of Emily. Emily had always been a free spirit. She loved to travel and explore new places, and she had never been content to stay in one place for too long. Her family and friends had always admired her adventurous spirit, but they had also worried about her tendency to take risks. One day, Emily disappeared without a trace. Her friends and family were stunned and frightened, not knowing what could have happened to her. They contacted the police and launched a massive search effort, but there was no sign of her anywhere. As the days turned into weeks, Emily's loved ones began to fear the worst. They combed through her social media accounts and travel logs, hoping to find any clues about where she might have gone or who she might have been with. But then, a breakthrough came. Emily's laptop was found in a hostel in a remote corner of South America. The laptop contained a series of cryptic messages and clues, leading her family and friends on a wild goose chase across the continent. They followed the clues to a secluded beach, where Emily was found living in a simple hut. She had apparently become disillusioned with modern life and had decided to live off the grid, away from the stresses and pressures of the modern world. Emily's loved ones were overjoyed to find her safe and sound. Thank you for joining me on this journey through two captivating stories. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it both informative and entertaining. If you enjoyed this content, please consider subscribing to my channel and hitting the notification bell to be notified when new videos are released. And if you have any suggestions for future videos or stories, please let me know in the comments below. Remember, these stories remind us of the importance of mental health awareness and the power of the human spirit to overcome adversity. So let's continue to explore the fascinating stories that make our world so intriguing. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring.